Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. Always appreciate you for tuning in live. So, thank you once again for all the live listeners. We come on live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every week on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, we do appreciate you all. Easiest time zone to call out, and most people know. So, always appreciate you all for tuning in live once again or listening to replay. Today's episode 166, Ready to Die. This is going to be a part of a series called a succession planning series. And so, Ready to Die is the actual name of this particular episode. It has a lot of consequence to it. And so, we definitely wanted to highlight this level of conversation, partially because no one wants to address it. No one wants to address the exit strategy for entrepreneurs in their business, their families, how do they leave behind businesses. And so, always a drop ball topic in entrepreneurship and business. People don't really talk about ready to die type thought process for the business to continue on the cash flow for the family. Traditionally, if it's going to be an asset that's going to be passed along, traditionally the business or the burden of the business is traditionally passed along to the family unless lawyers or other executives are in place to take over the family or the business that the family member at that time particularly built. So we're just going to go into some news this week. There has been reported that someone that's in the Bitcoin space has just transferred from one exchange to another, and they transferred 25 million. May not be hundreds, but 25 million was transferred from Binance to Gemini. You all can Google 25 million being transferred in Bitcoin from Binance to Gemini. See that news. We definitely got Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has came out and already started speaking. So, stocks that he says he bought in October were Nasdaq, Apple, and Mastercard. These are pretty much Mastercard. I'm pretty sure he was in on. I thought he was in on that. He may be in on another one. As far as ownership of a company, Apple did. He obviously took a strong position there, and even in Amazon, Amazon's list on the Nasdaq. Apple's list on the Nasdaq, Mastercard's on the New York Stock Exchange. So even the Nasdaq is taking a sell-off. And why do you think he's buying? When did he buy? When it was taking a sell-off recently. So we definitely wanted to address Warren and what he's doing, especially a big-time investor in the game right now. What's interesting though is the reason why we talk about this gentleman, Warren Buffett, is because he is someone that when he speaks, the market listens. When he speaks, he's like just as powerful as what would be considered the government. When he speaks, the market has a shift. So right now, you all can check out how Warren actually is predicting that there's a stock market crash about to happen or happening. And this is someone that takes a very, very strong position in the market. Uh, in the market. So when you all look at, Warren Buffett and his thought process towards investing, when someone like of his caliber speaks, once again, the market listens, it has reactions, and so just because he called for that alone, trends can be developed because he is reporting a trend now. You're supposed to buy low and sell high. Well, the market is at all-time highs right now and it's about to sell off because he says it's a crash coming. What do you think he's going to be doing? He actually reported what he was doing already. He's buying. He bought Amazon. He bought a couple other companies. No need to remember them because we don't hold those positions over here at the vault. Good information to look at. You see that that Warren is taking a strategic position in as far as his investing capital, but gets capital. He's big capital, dealing with capital in general. So he's definitely got control over companies, and so very important position to be observing, and specifically when he says there's a crash. He's a there's people called market makers. He's one of them. So now we're gonna hop into some more news. Bank of America hints it has declared a dedicated Ripple specialist. So when you talk about Ripple specialist, you're talking about once again a functional cryptocurrency. It's not a weekly read and gone tomorrow. It's something that has been around for over a year now, actually years. This company has taken a strategic position with with banks, helping with Swift transactions and things of that nature, making international transactions a lot more easier. So you can see that the market is definitely catering towards, you know, big banks and then wanting to put someone in these marketplaces and have a division. So I think that's all the news we got so far this week. There's so much more still to come. Check out Vista Equity Partners when you get a chance to. They've been making some strategic moves once again, and it's interesting because we want to almost talk about that maybe at one point. About the charitable side and the opportunities that are there for research, uh, just so much more opportunity, in the research side where capital's just, been dumped for years now, and the research side and development side. So, very excited about that. But this is episode 166, Ready to Die. And I really wanted to do this episode because so many people, once again, come to the vault without an exit strategy. So many people come to the vault without a plan for their family in place. It was a simple plan. It could have been written in less than 5 hours. Most general families under the accredited investor status. Accredited investors can be even a little bit more cloudy. We know entrepreneurs that are very, very cloudy with how many businesses, how much income's coming into those businesses, how much expenses are going in those businesses all the time. We see it all the time. And so, Ready to Die has to deal with mentorship, taking advantage of the mentorship when you have it. This is for families and as well for mentors. Just recently experienced so many mentors that we've had over the years have taken a seat and sat down because of a health issue, and their family's lifestyle was never affected, but they always had a succession plan in place. That's one of the first questions they ask you when you go into the bank. All the time as a trustee, they say, who's your successor trustee? And so it's so important, to know one of the most important things as a trustee is who's your successor, who's going to be the person that's going to take over what you've built, assets. Because that's what's in trust is assets. That's what's in business is assets. It's intellectual property. It's property nonetheless. Ready to Die is just taking advantage of the education swiftly, readily, because it's available. So many people come to the vault and they say, "Hey, I don't know if I'm ready." They don't say it, but they say it in so many words. And we say, "Well, are you ready to basically give up your life for the family? The sacrifice that it takes to put together a quality estate plan? Who's going to be your successors?" When we see parents with their children sit at the table, it's never a surprise. It's family. It's successorship. It's trusteeship. This is not about you going. This is about the next generation being ready to go. This is about the families that want to perpetuate wealth. Is your plan in place? It's a simple plan. In a series of succession planning here, we're going to talk about the will. Everyone wants to talk about the will. The will is always the hot topic. It's been talked about for years. How come there's so many instruments in the public and people don't know which ones to choose from? It's called a public education. It's called not having solid financial advice. Some people's financial advisor is making less money than them. Wow. And they call them a broker. They can sell securities. They can broker deals and give you stocks, hold it on an exchange or an account that's with the bank. That's through a broker, once again. Ready to Die. Taking advantage of the education the mentors provide because they do get sick. And thinking about that recently and it happening is such a mind blow because it was could you have invested more in the relationship. The true mentorship relationships require you to ante up, to invest heavily, quickly. So many relationships don't grow But when you see someone ready to go, it's time to get the jewels. It's time to be the most aggressive because the plan is there. The plan for success. That's why they're the mentor, because the plan of success is in their hands. So they have the succession plan, the thought process that they had throughout the time period that they were a trustee or that they were the CEO. They have the decision making, they have the corporate minutes, they have the trust minutes, they have maybe a side diary of their daily day. Think about how much data is missing internally with families by not having a daily, this is what we were going through. For the next generation to read that story and know, okay, we know not to make those mistakes. We know that was a good idea. We know that these people have feelings. We know that these people were intelligent. That's why I'm intelligent. Ready to die is not just leaving assets behind. We talk about examples of everyone considers them the big shots in the space. They're a big shot in their space. Whether it's Steve Jobs, whether it's Bill Gates, whether it's Mark Zuckerberg, even when we go to Aretha Franklin, her estate, nevertheless, she had an estate. We can go to Prince. We can go through the gambit of superstars in public view that some were ready to die and others weren't. How were some planning for their death? Some of them had insurance policies on themselves. That means you're planning for your death. You're planning to pass something along predicated off you dying unintentionally. Now, financial advice, just you can go check with the financial advisor. Insurance, you paying the situation. If there's a policy on you, you go. But things happen. But why don't people plan for that? The number one industry, the insurance is used as collateral. People don't even know the basic looks of an asset. Most people don't know that their stocks are considered an asset. You just got to know what type of asset it is. Every asset's not classified the same, but I mean, stocks aren't necessarily liquid. They fluctuate in value. You just have to find out where do you find a true valuation that you can go in and use as collateral. That's the conversation. Ready to die. Being able to sit at mentors' feet has always been a pleasure. Every opportunity had, and you can never know enough. Ready to die. Succession planning is what's missing in the marketplace right now. Some people ask about wills. They ask about all these different instruments. Okay, something's better than nothing, as some people would say. But sometimes the bad something is not always good either. So it's important to interview enough people to find out the right something. What is it for your family? Ready to die. Such a critical moment when you know how much work you've done in your life. We wanted to talk about this on tonight's episode because we can do a whole episode about it. Is think about how much, we got a diverse audience, so you all will relate. Think about how much money's gone through your hands in your entire life. Think about it. I mean, we the vault we could work with the millionaires to the lowest. So we got the middle ground. And when you see the capital that's been raised to the capital that's retained, there's a great discrepancy. Whether it's in the lifetime of a person, a lifetime, Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. X, Y, and Z made $14 million. Or X, Y, and Z made $100 million. How much did they pass on to the next generation? They made that their entire life. How much did they pass on to the next generation? Oh, they only passed on $200,000. Oh, they only passed on along $1 million life insurance policy. Only passed along a $600,000 life insurance policy. Oh, they only passed along 3 properties. We hear people that are stuck with property and their children don't know what to do with the property. They're literally paying the bill for the property and not making money off an asset. That's called uneducated. We have to call it like it is so that individual, those people can say, hey, you know what? I'm not. Well, how do I turn this into an asset? And in the seeking, you'll find it. The answers. It's gonna require some extra work after if you work some few extra hours or time to invest in finding that because it was left in a not ready to die position. Oh, here's a piece of property. We're gonna leave it to a family member, and then for some odd reason, they're not gonna know what to do with it. Whether they turn it into a profitable situation or it just becomes a liability. So, are you gonna leave your children in that same position? You gonna leave your family in that same position? The position is own nothing, control everything. So of course you're ready to die. It's like you're ready to be sued. You own nothing, control everything. It's business, not personal. It's about the family name. Of course you are. Succession planning starts with a plan. So, if there's nothing in place, how do you expect something to be executed? It's a question you can ask yourself for years. So, man, who would I put in place? Who would I put in place? You put someone you trust in place. Someone you trust. Trust Christian. Own nothing, control everything. You put someone that you trust in place. People say, oh, I don't know if I have anybody. Then you got to move and find somebody that will. Some people do trust attorneys to be their successor because they know legal ramifications in case the successor or a successor does not know full legal ramifications of things. It's good to have counsel. So, we appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. We definitely feel like we had to talk about this because so many entrepreneurs are sitting unprotected. Um, their estate is in shambles. It's spread out. It's convoluted. We actually, okay, here's a gem for the night. You get a forensic accountant to go through the family estate. You got to go through the numbers for the property. Forensic accountant. We've dealt with so many families that come through. They need a forensic accountant. So there you go. You got forensic accountants that can help you go through the numbers and go through the estate and look at the numbers and say, okay, this is where it is. That's not an external audit. It's an internal checking the numbers. Internal. It's gonna cost you less than $1,000. A cheap suit, as they would say. So that's you get a forensic account. We see so many people that come through and say, okay, they left us in a bad street. Okay, well you can find out through forensic accounting of the accounting of their estate. It's that simple. Really simple thing to do. Just have to give someone permission to do it. Um, ready to die. Ready to die sometimes to the vault actually means willing to lose it all. Willing to lose it all is always best. Bet big, lose big. Ready to die always has the mentality of you're for sure in a position where everything's in a great place. It's in the proper position at least. Successorship is definitely, obviously, going to be questionable at many times, depending on how much you trust the person over the estate, or multiple people. But that's what you're looking at. And so ready to die thought process puts everything in the proper position. So that's the first thing, is protection, because it doesn't matter if you go. The assets are going to keep cash flowing for the family or for the business. We see so many that do key man insurance. We see what is it? Cross purchase agreements. Yeah, it's like, yeah, yeah. You guys can really look into policies that have, say there's two executives of the company, and then you guys want to have policies on the executives of the company. The company has policies on these guys, and these guys are actually, something happens, then there's actually a buyout for families and things like that. So it gets really creative when you look into those things of, if something happened as an executive of a company, the company has a way to be able to refill the salary. If you all want to look into that, it's like Nick Saban. Nick Saban, I think, is actually pays a LSU coach, and he's actually paid through an insurance policy. And then what do you think? If something happens to him, they gonna have definitely a large windfall to actually get another coach back in there. What are you paying him through an insurance policy for? Because it sounds cool. It's the executive way, actually. It's just unfortunate, and it's fortunate that the Fortune 500 are doing it. And the small business are questioning, hey, can we do that? Can we afford that? How can they afford that? Corporations are pleading poverty every day. These companies say they haven't made a dime, but somehow the company's valuated over $100 million. It's valuated at $300 million. It's valuated at $500 million, but for some odd reason, they haven't cleared any money yet. You can go look at easy examples, such as, we'll name one of them, Tesla. This is a company that has the new invention of the electric car, all this good stuff. How is this company not profitable? Their executives aren't riding around on corporate jets? I think so. We actually like a no so. Let's look at this new company. Let's talk about this new company that was actually supposed to go IPO, which was WeWork. This company was supposed to go IPO, literally doesn't go IPO, and then floods the market with ads right now, claiming that they're still one of the largest, real estate leasers and all this other stuff, whatever it is. Think about how much their company's ready to die. They haven't even gotten started. And we can go on the internet and find a valuation for their company. The company's worth over $100 million. Easy. It's WeWork. The valuation on the company. Are they ready to die? They were ready to die before they started. That's why they didn't go public yet. Because they have capital, private capital. They don't need to go public. So they're ready to die. The CEOs are sitting there. What are the CEOs sitting back there on capital for, on evaluation? Let's look at the facilities that these companies are working in. They have capital. It's about controlling the capital, not owning it. When you own it, it goes through your hands. Ready to die? Succession planning says, own nothing, control everything. We definitely wanted to talk about this subject because it's a sore thumb. Who wants to talk about being ready to die? No one. But guess what? In the realm that we're in, when you say, oh, I want to go private, I'm ready to go private. We're private. You're ready for your name to be on the street. You're ready for your name to be on the college. What do you think Robert Smith did recently when he gave $40 million to the Morehouse College? He has his name at the college now forever for $40 million. He worked his life to give away $40 million and have his name remembered forever. at Morehouse College. So we would say, hey, what about you? Are you gonna let some money go through your hands and not have your name on the side of a college? And it's actually a grant, and it's an investment. It's a whole bunch of things that benefits multiple people. They try to call it the triple win, the win-win-win situation. Everybody wins. The student wins, the school wins, his family wins forever. That's how you prepare to die. You make money and you give it away through charity. Why? Because it's an investment. Every great says what? I'm going to give my money to charity. But for some odd reason, these charities are holding hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Bill Gates gives Microsoft a tax deduction of $1 billion every time it's a disbursement. Would they say, Bill, well, what do you do? Bill said, I know the tax code better than anybody. He's a nerd, and a publicly known nerd. Wow. Warren Buffett follows up, says, hey, I'm gonna give my money to charity too. Now my children, I'm gonna make sure they're in charge of some foundations, and I'll make sure I give it to them to their charities. But I'm not gonna ever say it's theirs. I'm just gonna give it to them. Then I'm actually gonna give some to my buddy Bill, because I really don't want to give it to anybody else. I'm just gonna give it to Bill and my children in charity. That's what happened. Same thing Robert Smith did. He just, he gave it to a school. But then we can go through the laundry list of billionaires that make money giving it away, giving it to a school. T. Boone Pickens, I think, actually just passed away. He was giving billions to Texas. Billions. He would go park billions and then take the endowment back after years. Yes, they don't have to be forever, but T. Boone made sure he would put money in and get money out. Investing in what's good old America. Investing in private education, investing in education. Education is charity. How long is it going to be around? Who doesn't want a free public education? There was recently there was a billionaire we heard of, or a very wealthy individual that made sure New York students for Medicare, for a medical school, actually go to school for free in New York. So if anybody can confirm that, that'd be great. But we definitely heard that from someone that's from New York, and a big fan of the individual that did that, put an endowment at the college to make sure that Medicare students, uh, medical students can go to school. I want to say for free. There's almost no tuition. There's a huge endowment with this college in New York, and people can go to school, medical school, particularly. So, obviously, you have to kind of get some schooling before you go. You got to pass the test, and then you're in the school, and then that's how it goes. So, but as you can see, someone was preparing. So we went a little bit deeper than just the surface level. Oh, we got to get some type of document in place. Well, what happens now when you don't have to bring in some banker, some guy that's coming from that's some lawyer. You don't have to get some. You just want the ones you want that are going to make sure that the succession plan is executed properly and all the hard work that you worked your life for. We're going to come out with another episode. We're going to do it either tomorrow or the day after. And it's the four things about money. Because there's some things about it that people don't get. Money is not always the same. And that's why we say don't work for money, work for assets. If you're going to work, at least work for an asset, some type of hard, tangible asset. We definitely look at the chat, so we appreciate you all typing into the chat, Donald, tonight. He said, appreciate you, definitely, in Atlanta. Shout out to Atlanta, listening live. Thank you. Uh, Peace family said, what month will Trustee Training open back up? Nash Drift, thank you. So we'll probably be doing it more next year. Still just not decided on that yet. Just email the Vault Christian at trustchristian.com, and you can get in contact with us. So that's Christian at trustchristian.com, and we can go forward from there. Um, But yeah, this is definitely an episode really focused on people knowing a certain type of thought process. And I know that it's not normal to say, oh, I'm thinking about, you know, making sure every move I make is prepared so no one has to take on some type of heavy time encumbrance. You have directions, you have directives that are very clear, very easy accessible for someone to go and make sure that they can take over the bank accounts or the family estate properly, take over assets in general. That's what it's all about. It's passing along wealth with ease. And we see so many that don't pass it along with ease. So many's estate is in bad shape. And then you see people like Warren, he's laughing away to the bank. And we got who else? What do you think? Bill's laughing to the bank, and then Zuckerberg's laughing to the bank. And what do you think Robert's doing? Every picture you see online and on the internet of Robert Smith, he's smiling away because he just gave 40 million away, making money away for his family away forever. He's putting contracts like those in place. And we had a kid say, "Oh, well, why would I need to learn contracts? I have a lawyer." Okay, well, sure. You keep being dependent upon that. We always tell people learning contracts is knowing how to operate within business realms. Clearly, that individual doesn't have a business. Why? Because business is contracts. Even as a consumer, they want you to have the disclaimer. You can get your shirt took. In this investment, invest wisely, invest at your own risk. You know, this product is hot. They have to give their disclaimers. So, really just wanted to do an episode about some of the gambit of thought process that comes with succession. Um, People say, "Oh, well, what books do I read?" There's so many good books. So many good books. Not a lot of good books when it comes to thought process because everybody's investment strategy is different. Everybody's business strategy is different. What we would say at the vault is succession planning comes from estate planning, going into the law library, looking at the topic, even calling a few estate planning attorneys and talking to them, interviewing them, for sure. That's definitely something that's very important. Finding out what one puts in place as opposed to another, very important to see what one puts in place as opposed to another. It's always great to see that. What are they putting in place? Um, of course, when you come to the vault, it's trustee training. So, of course, you're going to hear a lot of owning stuff on the public side, retaining ownership and control, really not giving up anything, but that's the public side. So we're talking private at the vault. Um, so that's what will come when you're in a consultation. You're going to be pretty much knowing how to put yourself in a position where uh, and people are, persons are going to make sure that your family's good, just like Robert Smith and Warren and everybody else that's in our space is they have things in place. And so we just look forward to you all connecting with the Vault Christian at Trust Christian, whether it's through the workshop with Cornell. We have the workshop with Cornell coming up here in November. You can feel free to email us and we'll get the details to you for the workshop. Other than that, we just appreciate you all for tuning in live, and we look forward to just sharing more content with you all about successorship because that's what it's all about. We're beyond the "oh, let's go make money" mindset. The make money mindset has very played out. It's died out actually. Why? Because people are stumped on time in the 21st century. They're stumped with time. They're busier than ever. Technology was supposed to make their life a lot more efficient. And so now you see technology in place where people are running complete businesses through a device called a computer. And that's very, very important. Even having all your records online. Don't really hear this question from too many trustees or people that are having businesses, but it's like, do you keep not just an electronic ledger for your company, but do you actually keep a book ledger for your company? That's very, very just small details, but different type of detail, whether it's a every 30-day detail or everyday detail, or even a quarterly or yearly detail. It's just a detail that we really don't see sometimes. But keeping that paper ledger, we've seen as some of the greats, even in the business, still are still using paper ledgers. All the greats are using paper ledgers. I mean, you might hear about the electronic guys. Oh, these guys got tech companies. There's obviously a bunch of tech companies that are very, very successful, but when it comes to practices that are ancient, why not practice the ancient writings? Why not practice the ancient practices that are in this space that say you write it upon tablets, you write it in advance, you show good faith, clean hands, and things of that nature. And so, ready to die is always even doing things in good faith and clean hands, making sure that your intentions are right in business. So, we really appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. I always wanted to just bring the best content when it comes to what we particularly are talking about in succession planning, and just being ready to die is a critical moment as a trustee or entrepreneur, as an investor, because a lot of us have families. The vault deals with a lot of families, and a lot of families want to have some type of ongoing strategy in place with minimal, hindrance in the wealth being continuously being created or retained by the family through investments or just different, income streams that the family will have. They won't be interrupted and things of that nature. So, really excited about doing the episode. Look forward to hearing from you all. Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you all. Peace.